I've made hundreds of videos on how to survive various levels in the Backrooms, so y'all should be pretty educated on that topic if you've been watching for a little bit. But what I have not done is make videos on how to survive entity attacks in the Backrooms, which is exactly what I'm here for today. Because in this video, I'm going to be explaining how to survive attacks from various creatures and entities in the Backrooms lore. I'm not talking about how to avoid them or sneak past them. I'm talking about if they're literally chasing you down and about to eat you. That's what I'm going to be explaining today. So if that sounds cool, leave a like. If you want more parts to this, tell me in the comments below. Without further ado, let's get into the video and let's see if you could survive these entity attacks. So for the sake of the video, this stick man right here will represent you. We will name him Bart. Now, Bart will face off against 4 entities in this video in hand-to-hand combat, and he will act as a lesson on what to do and what not to do when encountering and fighting off these creatures that want to eat you. Leave a like for Bart to survive. But first for today, I want to pin Bart up against a simple entity in the Backrooms, a very famous one, the Smiler. Smilers are very common, so the logic is you will eventually run into one while exploring the Backrooms. So here's how you can survive a sneak attack by one of these creatures and how you can get yourself out of that bad situation. So Smilers live in the darkness. They live in the pitch black areas deep inside of levels, and they enjoy small rooms and hallways and that sort of thing. If Bart finds himself on a level and is just walking around and out of nowhere, a Smiler jumps at him, the first thing he needs to do is to reach out for his flashlight and grab it and try his best to shine it right at the Smiler. Whether you have a flashlight on your phone or a separate flashlight, whatever it is, just grab it at all costs. Turn it on and try to flash it as fast as you can right in the face of that Smiler, because Smilers don't really enjoy light. They hate it. They're kind of scared of it. Kind of like some of you all are. But if you're able to get to your light fast enough and all that and everything goes good, it should be pretty easy to survive. But let's be realistic here. Smilers normally attack people using sneak attacks, so you won't see it coming, and instead it'll be just a really fast and efficient attack on you. So in a different scenario, if Bart were to get leaped on by one of these Smilers and he can't see it coming and he can't reach for the flashlight, if that happens, you need to use your hands and whatever else you can to try to scratch at the eyes of the Smiler. That might make it jump back and kind of revolt, and in that little moment where it jumps back, then you can use that to grab your flashlight and try to strobe it right at the Smiler's face. If you can manage to get the Smiler off you for just a second and to get your light out, you should be okay and Bart should survive an attack by one of these things. What not to do is to not reach for the light, and definitely do not just lay there and give up. You could probably fight one off if you see it in time. But let's say Bart makes it past Smiler, and let's say he gets to the next level that he's going to, and he's walking down a murky, dimly lit hallway in, let's say, level 13. He's thinking everything's okay, and he's just walking around, and then he hears it. The stomping of something big, some giant creature off in the distance. That's right, what if Bart then encounters a skin stealer? Now the good news for you and the good news for Bart is that skin stealers can be beat with pretty much ease. It's not going to take much. They're not known for their stealth and they're not known for their speed. They're typically just these brutes that kind of resemble humans from far away. So using that to your advantage, you can either run away the second you hear it, or you can try to kind of like outsmart it, because they're not known for their wits either. They hunt and they kind of eat and consume and use the skin of their victims by getting close physically to that victim. So for this case with Bart, all Bart will need to do is try to distance himself from that skin stealer. And as I said, they usually don't hunt via stealth, so that's pretty simple to do. They're slow-footed, they're not that fast, but then again, that is the easy way out, running before something happens. If a skin stealer does manage to get close to you, like it probably would, you need to do the test like I said in my Backrooms rules video. Blood runs clear, don't get near. Essentially, that means that the skin stealer's blood is clear, and if you do somehow cut the entity and you see clear blood, you need to run away. If you're close enough to the skin stealer and you manage to cut it and the clear blood starts running out, you need to hit it as hard as you can, and it'll kind of make it stun for just a second and kind of freak it out a little bit, and then you need to turn the opposite way and run as fast as you can. And when you're running, you need to make as much random turns and corners as you can. That way you can throw it off. And that way it'll have a harder time chasing you. Skin stealers typically will not chase you for too long after initial contact, but it's pretty safe to say you need to go ahead and get to the next level that you can in order to make sure you're gone from it. The main thing of note if you're Bart here is to not let the skin stealer touch touch you, because if that's the case, then you're probably too close and it'll probably just start to take your skin from you. So if Bart does all of what I just said, I give him a 75% chance of surviving a skin stealer encounter and an attack. And I give him a 65% chance if he has to cut the skin stealer. If he's already that close, I'll knock down 10% to 65. Just make sure you don't trip and fall while you're running away from the skin stealer, and you should be pretty good. So far in the video, Bart has escaped a Smiler attack and a skin stealer attack as well, but those are two pretty simple entities. Let's see what Bart would do if we pin him up against a dangerous, more aggressive entity like the Hound. Finding himself on level 31 inside of the roller rink, Bart stumbles around a corner, and directly in front of him is a Hound entity. Let's see if he can survive this. So hounds are extremely dangerous. They're very fast, they're known for their athleticism, and they're very aggressive, especially towards wanderers. They're more so devolved humans than actual dogs or canines or whatever, but they're called hounds because they walk on 2 feet. If you do by chance run into a hound, like Bart just did, the first thing you should do is stare at its eyes as long as you can, and always keep it in your vision. Once you've done this, back away slowly with no sudden movements, or it'll perceive you as a threat and start chasing you. Simply just keep looking at it, walk away, and stare as long as you can. Again, that is how you survive an attack if you see it first, but what if Bart gets sneak attacked by a hound itself and it's kind of too late to walk away? You kind of have to fight it off. That's when it becomes more difficult. You see, a hound's attack by biting and clawing at their victims. They're very aggressive and they're very strong. Hounds usually first attack like your weak parts, your neck and your head and that sort of thing. So your first order of business, and Bart's first order of business, should be to guard the head and neck area. Kind of like if you were getting attacked by a bear in real life. If you're in the back rooms and you're wearing a backpack or something like that, you can try to pull that up to cover your neck. That would help a lot. Use your legs and arms to kick at the hound's legs and joints as hard as you can. This might make it take a step back or even fall down. And if you catch a hound that's charging at you, like straight in front of you, you can attempt to put it in a reversed guillotine maneuver, which is where you kind of wrap your arm around it and then just drop down on its head with all your weight. This will put it into a submissive position, and if Bart can manage to do any of that, he should survive a hound attack. However, I only give him a 50% chance of surviving one because these are more dangerous, more aggressive, and that 50% is only if he doesn't freak out. If he freaks out and he starts going crazy, then I give him like a 20% chance, maybe. But so far, Bart has successfully survived a Smiler, a Skin Stealer, and a Hound, but believe it or not, things can indeed get worse, and they will get worse for our good pal Bart. Let's see if he can survive a run-in with a wretch. Now, wretches or insanities, OGs get that reference, they are one of the scariest things in the backrooms to me personally, because they're humans that have gone insane from the years of isolation of the backrooms. They've been so far and deep into the different levels that they got dehydrated, malnourished, and they kind of formed into this red, peeling, sour zombie. They're very aggressive, they're very fast, and they have these superhuman abilities of speed and strength. They typically reside, as I said, in the deeper expanses of the backrooms, and in order to survive an attack by one of these wretches, you need to listen closely. Firstly, like all the entities on this list, you can avoid them if you can. That should be your first thing ever. Try to not get near them. They're loud, they're vocal, they could be avoided if you're paying attention. But of course, no one is actually that lucky. You're not really going to be that lucky in general in the backrooms, but of course, no one in real life is actually that lucky. So if one of these wretches starts running at you, here's what you and Bart need to do. The only wretch that will attack you is a wretch that is in stage 3, and these are when they've completely formed into this reddish, zombie, bloodlusted kind of entity, when they're the fastest, the strongest, and they have no humanity left. But they're still shaped like a human, and they kind of move like a human. And since that's the case, they also have similar weaknesses to humans. If one jumps at you or is running at you, use whatever's in your hands to hit them as hard as you can in the head and the legs and their soft points. They will react similarly to humans, maybe not as fast as we do, but they will eventually react. And if you smack one in the face, it'll kind of back up and stuff like that. Use whatever you can to get them off of their running path by kicking their legs or sweeping their feet or something. Use your bag or backpack or anything like that to stick out and kind of keep them at a distance. That's the goal. You don't want a wretch touching you, and if Bart has any of these things on him, he's got to use them to his advantage. At this point, once you've kind of got the wretch off its initial running path where it's sprinting towards you, you can run through different rooms and you can find doors to kind of lock them and shut them in these different chambers. If you've ever played Call of Duty Zombies, this is kind of like what it is. You're kind of training the wretch, but you need to run through different rooms and then trap them in whatever room you can. If you do get it stuck in a room, you need to get out and shut the door and escape the level as fast as possible, or escape the area. Wretches are by far the most aggressive thing on this list in this video, and the best I can give Bart is a generous 45% chance of surviving, and a 20% chance if one manages to sneak up on him, which, like I said, that is harder because they are very loud, very vocal, but if they do, you're probably not going to make it out. Your best course of action is just get it off its feet to where it can't just sprint directly at you. If you act swiftly and confidently, you should be able to survive any of these attacks that I've talked about in this video, and if Bart does that, he will also do the same. If you get scared and non-decisive or hesitate, one of these entities or all of them could probably just eat you. It is that simple. But yeah, that was the video. Leave a like for old Bart. He went through a lot today, surviving all these entities, and leave a like if you think you can defeat any of the ones I mentioned today. I'd like to see what y'all have to say in the comments as well. Let me know other entities I should pin Bart up against, if there's more, or if there's whatever. I would love to put Bart in new situations. Thank y'all for watching to the end of the video. I really do appreciate it though. Thank you for y'all's support. I love and appreciate each and every one of you. Make sure you drop a like on the video. Like I said, if you want more like this style, I really enjoy doing this kind of thing. It's cool. And also, while you're down there, check out the description for my Twitter, Instagram, all that stuff that I say every video. You know the deal by now. Thanks so much for everything, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.